Hi, welcome back. So, the remaining black cards of Shadow over Innistrad. Now, with the blue video, you'll notice that I did not talk about the remaining blue transform cards, and there's a very specific reason for that. There are no more blue transform cards. All the blue transform cards were revealed before this. However, we do have some black transform cards to talk about. So, to start off, we have a Cursed Witch, a 3 generic, 1 black, human shaman. Spells your opponents cast that target a Cursed Witch costs 1 less to cast. When a Cursed Witch dies, return it to the battlefield transformed under your control and attach to target opponent. It turns into an Aura Curse. There's still curses here. Infectious Curse, to be precise. Enchant player, spells that you cast that target enchanted player cost 1 less to cast. At the beginning of your enchanted player's upkeep, that player loses a life and you gain a life. So I love the fact that we're going into we've got cards now that either start off not as creatures or start off as creatures, but transform either into creatures or something else. In this case, we have a creature that turns into something that's not a creature, and that's pretty cool. It's on a cursed witch. You killed the witch, but now you're cursed. I like that. I also like the fact that it's not like all the spells your opponent has cost 1 less. No, it's that Domino's playing with a rock. It's that just the spells that target her. So, and you're gonna be inclined to swing in with her because she's a 4/2. So they're gonna probably have to block a couple times. So if she dies, your opponent's gonna be having a little bit of difficulty. If you're running black, you're probably also running either red or blue usually, because those seem to be the two big ones. And those usually have a lot, especially with black, it's going to have a lot of stuff to target them in terms of life point damage. So spells that cost less for that are a boon to this card. This card's pretty good, I think. Not amazing, but definitely a very solid card, and a very unique card as well. Kindly Stranger, a 2 generic, 1 black, human, Delirium. Pay 2 and 1 black to transform Kindly Stranger, but only if you have your Delirium is activated. It's like, I'm not afraid out here, for I know that a higher power protects me. It looks like you could use some protection of your own, and turns into demon-possessed witch. When this creature transforms into this, you may destroy target creature. Honestly, it's a good late game. You can actually transform this the turn you play this card. I mean, if it's late game, like turn 6, you got 6 mana, very possible you have enough cards to get your Delirium off. You can play this. Then you can just, and it's not activated as a sorcery either. You can also play this as a combat trick. So you could just be like, I'm just sitting here minding my own business, and then roar, and then roar, and then just destroy. So it's a good, that's a solid card, I think. A very good transform card. Moving on, though. In terms of limited, if I'm in black, yeah, I'd probably play that. I would definitely play that. I would also play the other one, too, honestly. They're not overly costly for what they do, and their stats are pretty solid. So, yeah, I'd use it. So, now our actual legitimate black card. Alms of the Vein. 2 generic, 1 black. Sword speed, target opponent loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life. And if it's Madness cost is... Domino, what's going on? You seem so fussy for some reason. What are you growling at, dog? Oh, wait a minute. Is the flag back up? Yeah, it is. That's what it is. So, my sister hung up a sidetrack real quick. Now I know why she's acting up. For some reason, she doesn't like the flag that my sister put up in her garden. It's putting her on edge for some reason. But anyway, Alms of the Vein. Madness cost is just 1 black. So if you get this effect off, it's a good solid effect. For 3 mana, it doesn't do a great deal for 3 mana. It's okay for 3 mana. Nothing terrible. For a sorcery, it'd be cooler as a combat trick. But if you're getting its madness cost off, which, by the way, I like the... It's just this woman biting a vampire or biting into the veins of some poor schmuck. Poor guy. Or about to, anyway. Yeah, if you get just the 1 for 1 mana, this is a very good card. But overall, again, in black, I'd use it. Otherwise, because I'm not usually in black. Otherwise, I would just say it's a considering card. Behind the scenes, this guy with just the Mad Eye Moony Eye going on, just giant fuck off eye. 2 generic, 1 black. Enchantment. Creatures you control have Skulk. That's interesting. Tap 4 generic and 1 white. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of turn. I don't know what to make of this card. This is weird. The mana cost is fine, and you automatically have an ability it gives to all creatures you have. But if you're not running very small creatures, Skulk doesn't mean anything. Well, Skulk's only good if you're running small things. Now, I'm certain there are very many creatures that could value from the Skulk ability. I'm sure there's some small, low-level Eldrazi's that could benefit from the Skulk. And there's certainly cards in this set that don't have Skulk that could benefit from Skulk. I can see you putting it on werewolves. I can see you putting it on other things. The white mana cost ability, creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of turn, is just... It's an okay trick, but for 5 mana, that's steep. I can think of a lot of better ways to give a +1/+1, or even more than doing that. So, yeah, I don't think it's amazing, but it's okay. Biting Rain, 2 generic, 2 black. On Innistrad, it's seldom wrong to stay indoors. All creatures, so, I mean, I don't know if the rain is actually, like, doing something horrible to them. Apparently, I guess the rain's either cold and hurting or something like that. But all creatures get -2/-2 to land turn. Madness is 1 mana less, so it's 1 black, 2 generic. Still solid. It's a good card. It's a good little sweeper card. If you discard for Madness, it's an even better sweeper card, so there you go. It's a decent card. Moving on, we talked about that one, talked about that one. This is a new one. Ever After. Now, this is a rare sorcery to 4 generic, 2 black. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of those creatures is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Put Ever After at the bottom of its owner's library. So, essentially, you could, in theory, never deck out with this card, so long as you have creatures in your graveyard. So, and you're just constantly attacking, in theory, could never run out of your deck if you have maybe 1 or 2 copies of this. But, that being said, besides that, Recursion, it's a solid card. It replaces itself with itself. I think that's another cycle in the set that's cards that do that, because the Mythic Green sorcery does that as well, putting itself on the bottom of the owner's deck. I mean, I dig it. It's a little pricey at 6 mana, but in the late game, that's when you'd want to be playing this anyway. Anyway, of course, using Delirium and stuff like that to put things in the graveyard, you can return your big fuck off thing and be like, oh, look at my big fuck off thing, and then stuff. It's a zombie too, woohoo! But yeah, I dig it. Definitely a limited bomb, pre-release bomb. I don't know much on these standard rules for modern formats or anything like that, but Commander is gonna fucking own in Commander. So yeah, pretty good. Ghoulcaller's Accomplice, 1 generic, 1 black. Human Rogue, 2/2, so it's a bear. 3 generic, 1 black. It exile it from your graveyard, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token into the battlefield. Activate it only any time you could cast a sorcery. So we were seeing a lot of these types of effects, and for a bear ability, that's a pretty good ability. Domino, stop. It's just a flag. Seriously. Come here. Come on, Domino. Come here. Fine. Be like, just leave the flag alone. The flag ain't doing nothing to you. She's growling at a flag. It's a freaking flag. If it were an animal, I could understand, but it's a flag. Ghoulsteed. It's a zombie horse. 4 generic, 1 black for 4/4. Discard 2 cards by playing 2 generic, 1 black. Return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Yeah, again, Domino. Domino, calm down. It's a flag. Why are you so angry at a flag? There's nothing even on the flag except vegetables. Oh man, you're very silly, dog. But you need to kind of chill. Anyway, Ghoulsteed is actually a fairly good card. For 5 mana for 4/4 is a solid body. On any vanilla creature, that's pretty good. But the fact that it has a pay ability that's basically a madness enabler, and a recursion ability to bring itself back, it's very hard to keep this thing down forever, unless you exile it, which is why there's a lot of exiling in this set as it is. Overall, I dig it. If I'm in black, I'm also probably running a decent amount of madness, I would completely do that. I would completely use this card. Now, that being said, in some other things, it's a bit on the pricier side, but if you're in black, if you do a recursion style deck, this card would be a very solid card. Gissa's Bidding, or is it Gissa's the black, the brother and sister duo in this world that are the zombie callers. 2 generic, 2 black, put 2 zombie token creatures into the battlefield. Madness, 1 generic, 1 black. Solid card. You're getting your mana cost worth, and if you get Madness, you get it for a little cheaper. Grotesque Mutation. Now, I mentioned this, I think, yesterday, but first off, 1 generic, 1 black, instant. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains lifelink till the end of turn. Now, that being said, you look at the Grotesque Mutation, the tendrils on that person's fingers, it looks actually something like John Carpenter's The Thing. Domino! Seriously, calm down. I don't know why you're so up in arms about this. Yeah, that looks like straight out of the thing. But you look at those freaking tentacle fingers. It's Emrakul. That looks like Emrakul's tentacles. My God. In terms of the card itself, good combat trick all around. I'd use it. I'd use it even as if I was splashing black in. That's a pretty solid card. Hound of the Far Bogs. Delirium has menace as long as you... in fact, they already showed this. So, yeah, I don't care about that one. Indulgent Aristocrat. 1 black, 1/1 vampire. Lifelink. Sacrifice a creature by paying 2 generic and put a +1 counter on each vampire you control. If you're in Vampire Tribal, yeah, play this card because you will get value out of it. And there's plenty of token producers like the Spirits and Zombies to do that with. So you will get your value out of this card. Liliana's Indignation. 1 black, 1 and X. Put the top X cards of your library into the graveyard. Target player loses 2 life for each creature card put into the graveyard this way. This could be a double-edged sword, but you can get your Delirium off this way pretty easy, depending on how much money you're pumping in, which I would assume you're pumping in a decent amount. And depending if you're running a creature-heavy deck, you're going to be shaving off probably 6 to 8 of their life easy. Depending on how big the card is, or how many cards you decide to discard and how many creatures you run. But, with that being said, it could bite you in the ass, too. You could end up losing something very valuable, or you could just end up just milling too many cards and killing yourself. Or you won't mill enough. And there will probably be times you play this and you will not get the effect off. So, I mean, the life damage effect, which would be the other reason to play it. Believe it or not, the milling is kind of the sub-reason. It's only about 50% of the reason you play the card. You play the card for both the mill and the life drain effect. It's weird that way. Usually you'll play a card that has 2 abilities like that for one reason or the other, with the other just being kind of a icing on the cake reason. But in that case, no. You pay it. The value is in both those abilities. So at least that's how I see it. It'll probably kill in limited though. Absolutely. Macabre Waltz is returned. That's a standard card to talk about. It's Liliana dancing with a corpse, though. Macabre Waltz, for those of you who don't know, is a sorcery, 1 black, 1 generic. Return up 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, then discard a card. Good card, solid card. Moruk Necropod. Slug Horror, 5 generic, 1 black. My God, that's freaky looking. It's a 7/7 with menace. Whenever it attacks or blocks, sacrifice another creature or land. So it's you get it for 1 mana cheaper than its actual stats, which is good for a giant body, and it has menace. As long as you've got some little chumpers to get rid of, hello baby, and you want to maybe try to get your Delirium off. It's a good. For black. Black is not the color of big beater creatures. So when you see big beater creatures in black, you feel compelled to play them because you'll need big beater creatures. If you're going to be solely in black or in black-white, which white is not known for big meaty creatures. Overall, though, pretty solid card. It's not hard to just have something. You can just keep it sitting there, too, as a fucking 7/7 blocker until you have stuff that you can attack with sacrifice to attack with. So, I like that card. And plus, the art, I think, is just cool and creepy. Kind of like the Blob meets a Slug. Murderous Compulsion, 1 generic, 1 black. Sorcery, destroy target tapped creatures. Or creature. Madness, 1 it's still the same madness cost, damn it. Thank you, the blade becomes so hot in my hand, but your blood has quenched it. I like that. But it's okay. Destroy target attack creature. It's fine. Pale Rider of Trust. I always say it's the Pale Rider. It's Clint Eastwood in Innistrad. What's worse than being alone in the moors at night? Try not being alone. I like that. That's pretty good. The flavor, no matter how good or bad some of these cards are, the flavor is just a knockout in most of these cards. And it's a 3/3 for 2, Skulk. When it enters the battlefield, you discard a card. In this set, that's not a fucking downside. I mean, yeah, if you play it on turn 2, you are probably not going to get your Madness cost because you probably only have 2 mana. Maybe 3 in some weird scenario. But you probably only have 2 mana. But it's a 3/3 for 2 that all it's asking is, hey, discard a card. That's all. Okay, Delirium. Yay! Skulk for big shit? Yeah, okay, right on. Yeah, I dig that one. Absolutely. So Rancid Rats. 1 generic, 1 black, 1/1 zombie rat, Death Touch Skulk. Generic card, but... Oh, not generic card. Solid card. It's a pretty basic card, but a pretty good card for how basic it is. So I dig that. That's definitely that's one of those first picks for your mana curve. You'll use that every time. Rotten Heart Ghoul. 3 generic, 1 red, 1 black. Zombie. When Rotten Heart Ghoul dies, target player discards a card. Okay. It's a 2/4 for 4. It's okay. Nothing amazing. Sanitarium Skeleton. 1 black, it's a 1/2, and then you can pay 1 generic, 1 black to return it from your graveyard to your hand. So it kind of never goes away. But it's a good little kind of just, hey, I'm here, I'm blocking. That's it. That's all it does. It really just blocks. Shambleback. 1 black, sorcery, exile target creature card from your graveyard. Put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. You gain 2 life. From a graveyard. Okay. So this is value all around. This is the card. These are the kind of cards you want to play, especially if they're trying to get the Delirium. You can say you want to get your Delirium. Well, first you're gonna have to get past my 2/2 zombie, deal with the fact that I gained 2 life, and got rid of got rid of your only creature, so you can't get Delirium right there. So it's a good card. It's the only issue I have is it's a sorcery. If it were instant, it'd actually probably be uncommon at instant speed. But it's good. I like it. It's completely usable. And you'll definitely, I see people using it, I think. Stallion of Ashmouth. 3 generic, 1 black, 3/3, Nightmare Horse. And that's badass art, by the way. That's the kind of art that should at least be an uncommon. Come on. Delirium. Pay 1 generic, 1 black. Gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Okay. I could think of more amazing abilities or just better abilities to add on to that, but no, it's okay. Just okay. That art, though, that art's pretty awesome. Throttle. 4 generic, 1 black, instant. Target creature gets -4/-4 until the end of turn. I mean, it's instant speed at least, but that's expensive. Especially when I believe we had Grasp of Darkness return in the last set. Great, it's uncommon, but if I'm not mistaken, -4/-4 for 2 black mana. Yeah, no, this card sucks in comparison to that. And if I believe that's still around in standard right now, or from our set, so yeah, it's not that great. In fact, it's pretty bad. Now, unless you're if you're in pre-release sealed or limited, that's different. Then I could see it being like one of the last cards you picked in your deck, but still, I could see it. Last but not least, Vampire Noble. 2 generic, 1 black, 3/2 vanilla creature. It's all right. It's the cards that that help make filler. That's it. It's making the world go round. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the black cards. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Be back in a little bit with the red card.